Welcome to Markets Now. I'm Michelle Rook along with DuWayne Bosse with Bolt Marketing, and we're seeing pressure on the grains today over in the livestock futures. It's been kind of a mixed two-sided affair in a lot of that market. So DuWayne, let's start off talking about some of the pressure that we're seeing in corn and soybeans. Obviously, some of it coming from the fast planting pace yesterday, but also this China corn cancellation did not help, did it?
No, and it was really bad timing. Or if you're China, maybe it was really good timing, right? They have a knack to do that just when we got a lot of negative news coming at us, like you mentioned, the crop progress report. We're going to be well over 0.5% planted before Mother's Day. Old tales say that if you're planted before Mother's Day, or at least over half, then you're looking at trend line or above yields. Rain in the forecast, everything looks fairly good. So we're bearish, and then bearish USD report coming on Friday. You get all that mixed in there. And then China comes in and cancels this morning. That did not help at all.
Yeah, and there is concerns about what USDA is going to do with the export figure when we get into the WASDE report on Friday, right? I mean, we're down, 35% right now. So are they going to have to adjust that number, old crop?
Oh, I think they will. In corn, I'd look for probably maybe 50 million bushel reduction in this Friday's report. And maybe eventually it ends up being 100 million bushels. But Michelle, I think the trade's already trading that. I feel like that was part of why the market dove down last week. And now it feels like we got to go down and test those lows again. And when we look at the new crop export demand, and remember that'll be the first look at new crop here on Friday as well, we're also expecting a lower export demand for that season as well, due to the long tail of what we expect will be a record crop out of Brazil.
No doubt. So what are you thinking here in terms of, from a technical standpoint? Let's talk about that. Yesterday, July corn went up, hit $6. I think that's right around that 38% retracement level. We couldn't take that out. So now, what do you see on the downside for technical areas that we have to hold here, both on new and old crop?
Okay. Yeah, technically, you got to look at last week's low, about 569 for a July corn. I think we're going to go test that yet this week. Obviously, USD report will, outdo any technicals that day, and then we'll have the weekend right away. Report comes out 11 o'clock on Friday. When I look at these corn, around that 515, 512, I think it was 512 was the low before. That's our first support. We're not that far from it now. If we take that out, then Michelle, we're going to look at that psychological $5 mark. And I think we might want to test that. But when we do trade below that, or if we do, I think there's going to be long-term traders. Hopefully it's index funds that start to step in and say that that's not a bad buy going into the summer season. It depends on the WASDE report, of course, but at $5, Michelle, I don't know if we have a lot of weather premium built in this market.
No, I would agree with you, but the funds are short in this corn market now. Do they keep pushing that short?
They normally do, don't they? If you look at those managed money charts, they trend a direction. They don't, they recently just got out of all their long positions. They had been long for 2 years, right? And they don't get out of them just to turn around and buy them back again. And sadly, here they are selling. But the nice thing is they sold over 100,000 contracts last week in the Commitment of Traders report, and corn actually finished higher on the week. So I think we got some end users still stepping in and buying here as the funds are selling. Can the funds get short 300,000 contracts? They sure can. It's just would be risky right now going into the weather market, I guess I would say, or the weather season.
Well, hopefully those lows hold, because a lot of us in the trade thought that maybe we had put a low in there seasonally, and so those have to hold. We also saw the March lows hold in the soybeans last week. Do you think the low end is in there? And, is the WASDE report going to give us maybe a little bit better numbers than what we're expecting out of corn? I mean, is it going to be a little bit friendlier report, you think?
Yeah, I think it will. The soybean situation is still tight, old crop. And actually, I think the trade's going to realize for new crop too, even if we have steady acres with last year, and a yield of about 52 bushels an acre, which is very close to a record. I know that's trend line, but we're just trending upwards here. You're going to find out that our ending stock is still tight for new crop. I think I saw the trade estimates this morning for about 293 million bushels for a new crop ending stock. That's with that 52 for a yield and those acres to all get planted. Michelle, that's still tight. So no, soybeans have a better look come this Friday. Now, obviously, Brazil has a huge crop they're exporting, but their cash markets are starting to come back now too a little bit. So I think the soybean market finds a bottom quicker than corn.
Yeah, I would be with you on that just because, like you say, the ending stocks number is a lot different. Demand is a little bit different there. And so maybe we'll get a little bit better news out of the report. So what about the wheat market? Certainly we had the key reversals, the daily reversal last Wednesday. We had the weekly reversal last week. But is this market, done going down? Are the lows in there? Do you think they're going to hold?
Yeah, actually, I kind of think they are because I think we got to a low enough value, not where demand picked up a lot. It maybe did pick up a little bit. Our exports were better last week, but I think you got to a point where the funds finally quit selling. They're horribly short this market. And the rally we've had so far, which is quite significant, has probably been what's called a short covering rally. They're just buying their short positions back. A little bit of fear of Russia-Ukraine war. Will Russia actually close the Black Sea corridor? My guess is no. They're still willing to talk and negotiate. And I think they need it open for themselves. So we've maybe hit a short-term top, but man, I got to think those lows hold. But you could probably go back in your recordings and find me saying that a month ago on week 2. It just seems to keep bleeding lower. But, Minneapolis wheat performing better today, Michelle, and it should. North Dakota's having a heck of a time get that crop planted.
Yeah, only 24% of the crop planted nationally. So we've got some work to do there. Also got to ask you about HRW, though. Crop ratings, even with the rains that we have had there, down 2% on the poor to very poor category, and we were only up 1% on the good to excellent. And so that crop is not really getting any bigger, is it?
No, it's not at all. That was really telling, wasn't it? And you start seeing some of these crop tours and some of the photos coming out of Kansas, and yeah, it's a wheat crop that's starting to flag, and wow. Yeah, you can definitely row it. It's very short. It just doesn't look like a crop at all. What's a little concerning for me for the bull side is that they're actually going to get more rains now, and especially the western part of Kansas, western part of Nebraska, Texas. I'm a little bit worried that crop looks so bad winter wheat wise that they're going to disc it under. But now they've got some moisture coming, at least. Maybe they actually do go ahead and plant a sorghum, maybe soybeans, maybe corn. So maybe we can have some of those acres that USDA is suggesting right now, which, all winter long I've been fighting, thinking the total principal crop acres are too high. So it'll be interesting going forward to watch what they do with the moisture they're supposed to get later this week.
Yeah, and they're talking about maybe as high as 25% abandonment of acres of wheat in Kansas. And so that's where those double crop acres would likely come in. What do you think about winter wheat production, though, as far as the report on Friday? How low do you think it's going to be? Is that going to be anything that's going to be able to shock this market?
That you're right. That might help the market there. Obviously, the yield's got to come in pretty darn low. Acres were high. We understand that. But, like you said, I think a lot of that's going to get abandoned. A week ago, I thought it was going to be abandoned and just left, because why would you plant anything in total dry dirt is what a lot of growers down there were telling us. But like I said, it will be interesting if they get the moisture and decide to plant something different. But no, it could. I think it helps bottom the wheat market is what I should say this week, this Friday's report.
Cattle market, we had a nice recovery day yesterday after a down week last week in both live and feeder cattle futures. But where do you think we go from here? Is the market waiting for cash trade for direction this week, or what are we trading?
It seems like at that typical middle of the week cattle trade, we started higher this morning, started to run a little bit, and I felt really good. I mean, we took out the last couple of days highs, higher low than the previous days, but the trade action has been sloppy since. We're around mixed here midday, and it's a little concerning for me. I sure would like to see box beef higher again, which it's still high, Michelle. I don't know why I want to see it higher than 300, but higher cash cattle trade would sure make the chart people and the buyers feel like maybe the seasonal low is in the cash market, and we can start trending back up to 170. So yeah, it's just a quiet midweek trade. I'm still bullish, but I'm a little concerned with the trade action today.
Yeah, and then you've got the futures at this big discount to the cash, but it just seems like the market really doesn't want to go any farther here until you get cash confirmation. That's the way we've been as far as the trend all spring, isn't it?
It has. And you brought up a great point. We're talking about the higher cash market, but we're talking the June board now, which doesn't matter for a while, right? We're not into delivery. And it always tends to happen when April goes off the board at that higher level. We think June's going to run right back up there, and it never does. It always seems to sell off for a while first. And we got to see that cash market bottom and find a little bit of an upward trend before it can rally, but hopefully soon.
So you and I talked last week, and now we're a week past hogs making, another ugly move down. Over $8 in the June board last week is what we lost. Is that market just struggling because we have just too many numbers, or what is the main problem here that we keep seeing the funds unwilling to get out of these shorts that they're in?
The problem is the premium the futures market has to cash. Now, we usually have a premium to the cash market this time of year, but it's usually about $4 to $5 on the June board, where we're closer to maybe about $12 to $13 for a premium. I thought that wouldn't matter. Usually the futures market knows more than what we do when we're getting delayed cash news. I really thought last week, you could start to see the cutouts and the cash side of the hog market start to rally. I thought, here we go, cash market's going to rally $1 every day, and June hogs can actually rally from here. And it seems like I was wrong. We kind of went back down, made some new lows, and just struggled a little bit. But as we've been talking and doing this interview, hogs are kind of making a move up here now. So I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that we've seen the low. Like you said, they were record short a week ago. I don't know why they want to stay short, because production is supposed to decrease this quarter here. So, and exports have been good and demand's good. So I think hogs got to find a bottom here soon.
Yeah, we did have strong exports. I just wonder if the sow liquidation that we've been hearing about, if that doesn't spook the funds a little bit or make them apprehensive about getting out of those shorts.
I'm afraid you might be right.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for joining us. That's DuWayne Bosse with Bolt Marketing, and that's Markets Now.